Okay, we have game 6 up on the board here, and Scrying Pool is the only draw. We have no trashing, but you still have to go for Scrying Pool. It still works, even though you don't have any trashing in the deck. That is the amazing thing about Scrying Pool. So opening Potion seems obvious here. My opponent and I are going to do the same. I am going to pair my Potion with a Silver, of course. The Silver is there so that I can get to King's Court. King's Court is a very, very strong action card. It gives you the source of plus actions on this board if you could king your scrying pool. Also, you can do lots of fancy things, right? King Messenger is a lot of money. King Baron is at twice as much money, etc. etc. You know how King's Court works, right? So my opponent actually opens with Potion and nothing, leading me to believe he has 5-2. So we'll see how that works out for him. He's able to get his scrying pool here, as am I, luckily not missing the scrying pool here, of course. Now my next hand, I do have 5, and I do consider the Pillage. Pillage is one way to get to King's Court by injecting 2 spoils into your deck, but I go for the Baron instead. I feel like the Baron is a little bit quicker to get to King's Court. I don't have to wait for another shuffle to see the spoils. Also with the scrying pool sifting through coppers from my deck, I have a decent shot up here in the Baron with the estate and getting up to 5, not 5, sorry, 7 for the King's Court. So here my opponent doesn't quite get up to 7, but gets up to 5 and picks up a Pillage. Wasn't too worried about the Pillage. Fine, he can have it. I don't care. I do pick up a Mill instead on 5 here. Again, that could have been a Pillage, but I felt like the Mill can also help me get up to King's Court by discarding cards down, right? I can form a longer bridge for my scrying pools and then discard estates, extra estates away, or maybe the potion away for enough money to pick up a King's Court. Unfortunately, my opponent pillaged me and knocked the Baron out of my hand, preventing me from picking up King's Court that turn, so I just had to pick up a Mill, and that was a couple turns ago. Let me catch up here. My opponent actually is able to come up to 7 here, seeing one of his spoils. I discarded one with one of my scrying pools, but that was not enough. I save an estate here just in case. Just in case I did see the Baron. Unfortunately, I'm not going to see the Baron. I do dig for it though, by discarding the potion. Little bit dubious whether or not I should have discarded that potion or if I should have just picked up my scrying pool. I didn't work out, I didn't find the Baron, but I was able to find enough money to pick up Pillage finally. So my opponent has 2 King's Courts right now, and I only have the one, and he shuffled already. So I feel a little bit behind at this point in the game. His Pillages slowed me down, perhaps, as well as his Scrying Pool is doing some real unpleasant things to me. Another Pillage for my opponent here, but here I am also going to pick up a second Pillage, I believe. Consider the mill, but I had enough of this pillage nonsense, right? You can't be knocking important cards on out of my hand without repercussion. There is going to be repercussion for this. So, mill scrying pool for my opponent. 5. Again, this could have been another pillage, but I had 3 of them in the deck already, so I said, you know what, you had enough. You have enough. You have enough. Just go for the mills right now. Excellent cards that work very well together with Scrying Pool. In fact, if you're able to draw your whole deck with Scrying Pool, you could maybe set up your next turn with Mill and Scrying Pool or something to make Outpost a bit more effective. That's way into the future. But just something to keep thinking about. This, awful. I don't want to see this from my opponent. He managed to find his king with his Scrying Pool and is able to draw a ton of cards. He is also able to find his second pillage that he bought, and I presume he's going to knock one of these scrying pools out of my hand. Not only that, but all these scrying pools that he played, discarded the King's Court that was coming up. I knew for sure it was in the back there, but not able to get to it now because my opponent discarded it. And really, I need an absolute miracle turn. Yep, here we go, we got it. We're still in this game just because of that one draw. That is why Scrying Pool is incredible. It can still do things like this even on a deck full of junk. So I am able to find king with my scrying pool here and draw up a lot of cards with it here. Hopefully I can get to the Baron, and I am actually going to make sure and get up to the Baron here. Discard one pillage because you can't attack your opponent once he has decreased his hand size below 5. And this is a terrible hand for my opponent. I make it so that he can't even buy a mill, but that's the kind of turn I need if I want to catch up in this game. So Scrying Pool and King's Court for me here seems fairly obvious, and if I have as good a turn as I had here, I will be able to pillage my opponent one more time and hopefully render his turn useless or as close to it as possible anyway. I discard quite a few things off the top here. Don't find the King's Court, but I am going to play the Pillage instead of the Baron. Knock the single Scrying Pool out of his hand. Excellent. I had 2 free turns here. 1 through Shuffle, 1 through Pillage. We'll take it. Absolutely needed that to get back into the game. I know I'm not only back into the game, but I feel like I might be a little bit ahead right now. At least half a turn ahead anyway. So here, I have to king mill first of all, but then I king the Scrying Pool. I'm trying to maybe find all 3 estates so I can king Baron, but that isn't gonna happen this turn. Maybe I could set up something with this mill to put the Scrying Pool at the top of my deck instead, but again that isn't happening. So we just drop to the end here, take our 2 buys, and go for King's Court and a Pillage. I am going to keep my opponent as much down as possible here. That could have been a couple King's Courts, but I wanted the Pillage just to try to kill his turns from that point. Not a good turn from my opponent. He's just able to pick up a King's Court. Actually, I'm able to finish the game on this turn. Finally I'm able to see all 3 estates. And also King, King. Scrying Pool starts the chain here, so eventually I'll get to King a Baron. Drop 3 estates down, get $12, and find enough money to pick up the last 2 King's Court, the last 2 mills, and I'm going to make use of Keep, which I haven't mentioned yet, but I'm going to make use of Keep by kinging a Pillage. So you don't get to discard more than 1 card from their hand, but I do get 6 spoils from kinging a Pillage, making sure that I get the key points for that treasure pile to get me the lead and to take this game. So the game finishes 4-2. I only get 2 points from this game, actually, leaving me at 19 points for the season, which is decent, which is good, which ordinarily wins, but there's still a chance that my opponent here, who is playing tomorrow, can get 4 points and take the B division. So we'll see how that turns out. As it is, thank you for watching this season, and I will see you in Shuffle IT's tournament.